Well, welcome to our continuing journey, our Faithtoolbox series, where we're seeking to identify and know how to use the tools that God has given us to know Him, to discern what is truth. This week we looked at experience. What role does experience have as a tool that helps us to know God? So we had three panelists this week. We had Denise, Monique, and Alan. And so basically we tried to break those up into three stages. What is the scope? What is the range of ways that God speaks to us? So when we experience, how can we experience God? So that was really good. Then we looked at the theology of experience. So looking at Scripture, seeking to know how to reconcile different experiences, or as Monique revealed, lack of experience, or perceived lack of experience. So often, when we talk of experience, people immediately jump to the big, dramatic things like healing, and we want to acknowledge, as the people of God, that God heals. Well, we serve a living God, so of course He's able to heal, not only in the past, but even today. But what do we do when we don't see healing, even for ourselves? What happens when we don't feel God? So are we a people that are led by our feelings? Is that our primary way of discerning who God is? Or are there other ways that God has given us that help us moderate and understand, so that experience, feelings, have a voice, but not the determining voice? So an example of a way that theology can help us understand this is that we recognize that we are the people of God, not the person of God, in the sense of it's just God and me. There's nobody else involved in the relationship that's really important. Well, actually, Scripture shows us that's not true. That God desires us to be the people of God. He talks about the body of the church, so that there's more than just one individual in the relationship between God and ourselves. There's a community of people, and so therefore, when we look at experience and we say, I haven't experienced God, well, that's not true. We can say we have experienced God, because within our community we can see the hand of God ministering in different ways. We can experience God's presence, not just in our own story, but in the stories of those around us. And so that's really important theology to have, to understand that as people of God, as the people of God, there's more than just us involved. And so we can look to the stories of others that we know and love and trust, and have that speak into our journey. So I think all of us can think of circumstances where we have seen God encounter somebody in a powerful and special way. And that can be our story too, not just theirs. It can be our story. And then finally we looked at applied experience. So we sat in our groups and we talked about what it is to bring circumstances that we might be experiencing in our life, and have us as a group discuss how we can see the hand of God in those circumstances. So some people explored what does a theology of money and wealth, how can experience speak to that and say, well, actually experience shows that God is not just linked to money and wealth. He's actually He's with the poor as well. So that's where our experience can show actually God's present in all places. In healing was another one. What do we do when God doesn't heal? And our perceived way of what that might be. How do we reconcile that? What can we look at there? And then we actually spent some time of actually just sitting and experiencing the presence of God. And so Denise gave us some exercises to do where we had some reflective words and some thoughts to sit with, and just allow that time of meditation to take place and experience what it is to sit in the presence of God and have Him speak to us as individuals. And then again, collectively share that, have those experiences be shared amongst us, so together we experience the presence of God, which it actually goes to the very core of what we believe as Baptist people, that it's as we gather together that we discern who God is and know God better. I want to finish with Psalm 46, verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted amongst the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. Can I encourage, whatever you're doing right now, just pause, be still, and allow God to speak to your spirit. Experience His comfort. Experience the living, breathing God who is with you right now. Bless you. Have a great week.